Welcome to Vacuum Wars, and to our review of the new version of the Dyson V11 cordless vacuum. Though older versions of the V11, like the V11 Torque Drive and the V11 Animal, have been around for years, Dyson recently updated the V11 with all new hardware and features, including some upgrades and some slight downgrades intended to make the new V11 more affordable. We bought one and put it through all kinds of tests over the last few weeks, and in this video I'll go over the pros and cons to see if the Dyson V11 is still a good buy in 2024. So links in the description, and let's get started. First, the basics. The new V11 comes in two packages. The first one is simply called the Dyson V11. The second one is called the V11 Extra, which is very similarly priced. The main difference between the two options besides the color is the number of attachments. For example, the V11 Extra has a hose extension tool, which I recently did an entire video about and think is very useful, but it can be bought separately if you like the color better on the V11. As I said, this V11 is a new design versus the old V11 Torque Drive. One of the main differences is the floor head design, which is now called the motor bar instead of the torque drive. Dyson's new anti-hair tangle feature has been added to the new head, and the adjustable gates that were on the torque drive are now changed to non-adjustable. Also, the new V11 no longer has automatic suction adjustment, but I'll talk more about those things later. Starting off with the pros. The performance was excellent. The new Dyson V11 scored really high in all of our bench tests. For example, its airflow was in the top 10 out of over 90 cordless vacuums tested. Its sealed suction numbers were also way above average, which makes it especially good for things like handheld cleaning jobs, such as upholstery cleaning, where the suction really comes in handy. Its unsealed suction numbers were also above average, though not by as much. As I said, Dyson has done away with the adjustable gates on the new motor bar cleaner head. It now has fixed gates, which are more typical with cordless vacuums these days. One of the pros of that design is that it helps to give it a good seal on hard floors, and the Dyson V11 did have a perfect score with our crevice pickup test, probably as a result. With the carpet deep clean test, where we see how good it is at picking up deeply embedded debris like sand in carpets, it was slightly above average. Its numbers here were very similar to the top of the line Dysons like the Gen 5 series. As far as its main job of picking up debris, it did exceptionally well. In the real-world tests at my house, it picked up debris on hard floors and carpets and rugs very effectively, including things like pet hair and medium debris with no issues at all. In the studio debris test, it handled all the types and sizes of debris on carpets, from fine debris all the way up to extra large. But in the studio hard floor tests, it was limited to smaller debris because of those smaller gates, which is normal, but I do miss the option of the front gates for super large debris pickup. Another big pro is the battery life. I think Dyson has some of the best battery technology in the industry, and this V11 is as good or better than the Dyson V15, which uses the same removable and therefore replaceable 3600 mAh battery. This chart shows the battery life on each of its three power settings, Eco, Medium, and Max Power, according to the digital readout, which predicts its battery life. These numbers are all above average, especially for the power output that you're getting at each level. Another pro is its display screen on the back of the handle, where you can see in real time the amount of battery life you have left, which changes depending on the power setting or attachment that you're using. Another big pro is the filtration. Dyson is again one of the best in the industry at manufacturing high-quality sealed HEPA filtration systems, which keep the dust that you're vacuuming up from getting into the air, which is not the case with most cheaper cordless vacuums. The active hair removal feature on the motor bar, which was one of the things that changed on the new V11 style, is nothing short of amazing. It's basically little plastic combs built into the brush housing, which actively remove hair as you vacuum, and it worked great in our 14-inch hair test. Both the V11 Extra and the regular V11 come with a lot of high-quality attachments, which make them useful in more ways than just floor vacuuming. For example, they both come with a screw tool motorized brush, which has its own anti-hair wrap feature built in, a crevice tool, a combination brush, and a wall dock. The V11 Extra also comes with an extension hose, which I highly recommend, a stubborn dirt brush, and an up-top tool. Neither Neither of the V11s come with a fluffy soft roller, and there is no package of V11 that does come with one. Dyson officially says that the fluffy optic rollers, like for the V15 and Gen 5 series, are not compatible with the V11, but I tested the one from my Gen 5 on the V11 and it worked fine. However, I'm sure that there are reasons that they say it's not compatible with the V11. If you happen to know about this, let me know in the comments. The final pro I'll mention is its price. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money, especially when compared to other cordless vacuum brands, but the new V11 was clearly meant to be a more competitively priced Dyson premium cordless, and I think they did a good job of finding that middle ground where you get all the main premium features that you expect with a Dyson for a cheaper price. It can't all be good stuff though, so let's move on to the cons. The handle weight is the same as the previous Dyson V11s, and it's above average, which is a price you pay for all that power and battery life. Nevertheless, it was kind of awkward, especially when using it for above floor cleaning jobs, which is one of the reasons I highly recommend that hose extension tool. Another con is that this new Dyson V11 does not have the auto suction adjustment feature, which we first saw with the old version of the V11. I do think that feature really helps to optimize battery life and performance, so I do kind of miss it. It's not that big of a deal when you have such exceptional battery life like on this V11. You can keep it on medium power and get similar results. Another thing is its Dustbin, which is slightly above average in terms of capacity, which is good, but I don't like that you have to take the wand off to empty it. It's only a slight inconvenience, and it is pretty much the same with all Dyson cordless vacuums since the V8, but it is worth mentioning. So is the Dyson V11 worth it in 2024? I think when you consider its power and performance, its build quality, top-tier features like sealed filtration and hair removal, an extremely useful attachment set, and a new, more competitive price when compared to the old version, I think it is. Links in the description to the V11 and V11 Extra, and be sure to subscribe to Vacuum Wars before you leave. Thanks for watching. All of the links in our description section are updated regularly to reflect our current favorite vacuums in multiple categories. If you don't know where to start, check out our latest Vacuum Buyer's Guide video linked here. You'll also find links to the vacuumwars.com website in the description, where we post all the latest vacuum news, as well as much more detailed top 5 lists in multiple categories.